God family country, how's everybody doing? It's the Christmas season. Yes, we got that toasty fireplace in the background. And we're going to talk about some things tonight. And here's what we are going to talk about: the TikTok ban. Let's take a look at it. Let's see if I can see. All right, here we are. TikTok and its Chinese parent company asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block a government ban set to take effect next month, making a late push to keep the social media platform operating in a market with more than 170 million users. The emergency request comes from a federal appeals court upheld. Comes after a federal appeals court upheld a new law banning TikTok in the U.S. if the parent company doesn't sell the app by January 19th. The three-judge panel rejected TikTok's free speech claims, which I'm in agreement with because they're not about free speech. I'm going to prove that right here, which is unpopular, especially with a lot of people's movement, saying Congress was legitimately acting to protect national security and user privacy. And here's the thing. TikTok, what I think is hilarious about this TikTok free speech is that TikTok's not about free speech. They're not about free speech at all. I'm going to show you proof, and you can take it for what it's worth. I'm going to show you some proof on some stuff that's not about me and some stuff that I've dealt with personally, right? Because a lot of people are claiming that TikTok is all about free speech, but TikTok itself, and like a lot of other platforms, force self-censorship. And they do that to cull data and create these algorithms to make sure that you can't get certain stuff out, especially if it's going to go viral. They have these things that they do. I call it like a cool off period, where a video might be hot and they'll kind of cool it, hold it, wait, and then like release it for whatever reason, and then they'll let other ones go. Now, all of the accusations I'm saying right now, I can definitely prove tonight. So let's just talk about what I can prove. What I'm going to prove to you today is that TikTok is upset. TikTok is going to claim that its free speech rights are being violated, but yet its own platform does not follow free speech. And I'm going to prove it, right? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's prove it. So I want to show you something. And this is a video. I just want to show you a contrast. And this is a video just to kind of contrast the obscenity. Now, here's free speech, right? So we have this guy that joke or no joke was, unfortunately, they missed Donald Trump, right? And then, do you see any warning, anything like that on this screen? Let me make sure that you guys can see this. Do you see any warning, anything letting you know that this could be dangerous or we shouldn't think like this? And I'm not saying that there should be, right? I'm just going to show you two very different contrasts, because obviously right here, TikTok's, hey, look, we're letting people say whatever they want. Free speech, right? Here we go. Let's get to that free speech. Let's see if TikTok is all about that free speech. So here we go. I just typed in Andrew Tate and it says, be hate aware. Can you guys see that? Let's see if you can see that on your end. Be hate aware. At TikTok, where we value creative expression, our foremost priority is keeping our users safe. Content and behavior that, let me see if I can open that up. Content and behavior that what? Might have to move it over a little. Content and behavior that attacks or incites violence and hate against an individual or a group of individuals on the basis of protected attributes are not permitted on TikTok. Help us keep TikTok community safe and report content that violates our community guidelines. So big cap here on whatever they're claiming that they do, right? So here we see two polar opposites. Hey, be hate aware, everybody, because we care. We value creative expression. We won't tell you anything about keeping the community safe here if you're having thoughts about harming somebody. But if you're Andrew Tate, which, look, I don't agree with Andrew Tate. He's not my favorite person. I don't think that's what a manly man is. I think that's not what God intended. I believe in, I think a lot of the things that he uses are stolen and twisted and perverted ideas of what a man is truly supposed to be, and it's very toxic versus what God wants a manly man to be. But that's a whole nother topic. But just for the sake of argument, there's some times where he has things that I do agree with, right? So let's look at this example, right? So why did I show you this video? So I show you the contrast. The TikTok is definitely not there for creative expression and does not believe creative expression and does not believe in free speech on its own platform. And here's my next proof. So I did a video back in July during the Olympics, and I got 3 strikes. Well, almost 3 strikes, 3 strike shots. So I had to lay low and I had to self-censor till I was able to post again, because anything that I did at that point would result in a ban. And I'm going to show you the video that did not involve any hate, just involved Christians being upset by something that the Olympics did. They denied they did it, got caught by one of their people that they did it, and then said, well, if you're offended, we're sorry. Like a fake apology, right? And we had, there's a Catholic Bishop Barron. He got on to speak against this. And we also have the Tate brothers, because one of the Tate brothers, and I'm not sure, I believe his name is it Christian Tate? I actually think his name is Christian Tate, is a Christian, and his brother, Andrew Tate, who is a Muslim, was sticking up for Christians. Now, I did an edit of the video where he is talking about Christians just standing up for their rights, and it got struck down. I fought it. They appealed it. I said, hey, this is free speech. It's not saying anything hurtful to anybody. It's not saying for anybody to incite violence. It's just saying, hey, us as Christians, we're going to stand up for our rights, right? Because obviously Christians are allowed to be attacked. You could go on TikTok and see Christians being attacked left and right and disrespected in every single way, right? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, fine. So I was just like, hey, here's something where people are organizing and speaking out against it. This is something that is viral, trending, relevant, not hateful, not asking for people to hurt other people. Surely TikTok would allow me to put a video like this out. Not so. Let's look and see what they didn't let me put out. Let's see what got me my strikes. And that's why I want to tell you this whole thing right here, this TikTok and its Chinese parent company that's asking TikTok's free speech claims, saying Congress was legitimately asking to protect national security and user privacy. Sorry, the 3-judge panel rejected TikTok's free speech claims, and I do too, and I'm going to show you why. Because they don't believe in free speech. It's rules for thee, but not for me, right? And I'm going to prove that without a doubt here. With it, I didn't like call this to make it one-sided. It is what it is. I showed you 2 different videos. I showed you a video where a guy was mad that Donald Trump, the first Donald Trump shooter in July, missed him. And it was on the platform. And then I showed you another video where I looked up, so here's the video, no warning. And I showed you another video where I typed in the name Andrew Tate, and it was synonymous with be hate aware. So clearly an oversight. Well, then we go to this. I have a video where I got struck down for playing something that wasn't hateful. And let's hear what, and then appealed it. And then got my account almost struck down, then sent them, there's an additional appeal you can do on TikTok. Sent it, nothing. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear about my free speech that created no hate. So let's see what TikTok really thinks about freedom of speech. Let's see what TikTok thinks about this video.
€1 for France to do this Olympics. So they took your tax money. They took your tax money.
If you do a search on TikTok right now, you're not going to be able to find this video very much. There is a couple of people that have this video, and if they do have him on there and they're censoring him, then that means they censor certain things he said, This doesn't sound like something that should be muted when he's just saying, hey, you guys got to stick up for yourselves. God Family Country, welcome back. 2 strikes from TikTok. One day. Got a warning, a strike, and another strike. All in one day. Based on, allegedly, hate speech. I'm going to show you the exact video I posted on TikTok that got me a warning and a strike. Let's go to this first video and let's play it here in its entirety.
There has to be a point you stand up for your beliefs. If you have something in life and you don't stand up for it, it will not last. If you have a house, you don't maintain it, it will fall down. Business, you don't work, it's gone. Relationship, you don't take care of her, she'll leave you. It's the same with religion. If you Christians don't start standing up for things, when they mock you publicly and openly, you'll have no religion left. There has to be a point you stand.
So there we are. There's a video. So Christianity will not be mocked. So Christians stand up for themselves, say, hey, I didn't like that. That was very offensive. You guys intentionally did that. I got dinged for it. Let's see what happened next.
Stand up for your beliefs. If you have something in life.
Again, so this was the first one I got a warning for. They actually switched. I didn't know that they could do this. Imagine being charged for something and then you send an appeal and then they close that account and charge you with a different crime. Pretty much what happened.
So yeah, so originally I think they said it violated this. Then I said, no, it doesn't. And then so they regrouped it and closed it and kept a charge, but it was just a different charge. They were like, well, we'll make this stick then.
Here's the last video, and it's got the, of course, I've put the subtitles on there. I like to put the subtitles on there because maybe somebody's when you're watching a short, you might be in a place where you can't.
Okay, so here's the next video I'm going to show you. This is the last video. I did another version or take of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate talking to Christians saying, hey, you need to stick up for yourselves and we support this. At no time are they promoting hate, violence, or anything at all. They're not creating a hateful environment. Unlike the video we saw earlier of them trying to talk about missing the president of the United States, which was horrible, right? They didn't even, there's not even a warning, but if you type in Andrew Tate's name, there's a warning, right? So let's see what was so horrible about the second video that I played that created me to get a charge and be penalized. And because I just want to see, like, is TikTok really about free speech? What TikTok's fighting for? Is that what's available on their platform?
Can't play something loud.
100 million euros for France to do this Olympics. So they took your tax money, your tax money, and they're making fun of Jesus Christ.
I believe most of you are Christians. I'm a Muslim. Yes, this is Romania. It's supposed to be the most Christian country in Europe. You cannot allow them to desecrate something as important as the Last Supper.
The European Union.
That was it. That was the whole video that allowed me to... So enable free expression. Here's some of the stuff that TikTok alleges. Champion inclusion. Not true. Especially if you're a Christian. Not when you have a win like this. When you have a win and it may hurt somebody else's feelings, which I don't see how it could. Obviously, we're very aware of the Last Supper. We're very aware of what's disrespectful and not. And the whole community felt it was disrespectful, and that was offensive to TikTok. And the whole community never once called for violence, never once called to hurt somebody else, never once regurgitated any hate speech, just said, hey, this is not right. We're standing up for it. And TikTok didn't think that was okay. And in doing so, TikTok censored this video.
So I'm looking up their free expression because I see TikTok is in a ban right now, and they're crying the same thing I'm crying right now, is that, hey, you're trying to censor me. And their fight was, you guys are trying to censor Americans, which is really hypocritical because I'm an American and I'm being censored.
Here we go. I mean, did I lose any sleep over it? No. So anyways, I wanted to show you that. And now we'll hear an alternative perspective. Here's a guy right here says banning TikTok has nothing to do with China. This is one of the few platforms that does not censor. Okay. You know, maybe this man doesn't believe that it's censored, but I have proof of censorship. It does censor. And so I'm not really, I get TikTok's big for kids. You know, it's big for the youth. And I think that's awesome. And I also think you got to speak the truth. If you don't like the truth and you don't like it, that has nothing to do with me. I am showing you some truth. I brought receipts, and you can see that TikTok censors while crying like a baby that it doesn't want. Oh, they're trying to censor me. They're making me sell. I think that, you know, if they get the same treatment, too bad, so sad. Because I think what they say can't be trusted. I think that they're liars. They clearly saying that they are not censoring and they shouldn't be censored, and that they're being censored when clearly they're censoring. I support the sale. It needs to go to somebody who's not going to censor as much as TikTok. And what TikTok does, and a lot of other platforms do as well, especially with the type of, I noticed that when I changed my media to be more of exposing certain truths that went against either a culture, mainstream media, or wasn't popular, but was, and it wasn't like fringe conspiracy, trying to go viral by exploiting situations and blowing things out of proportion. I realized that just like regular truths can get you in a position where you will want to start self-censoring. Even my channel that's on a smaller level right now, I could see me getting a couple of dings here and there, wanting to start self-censoring because, hey, I didn't want to lose this account. I'm trying to do something here. I have a vision here. This is part of the vision. Let's try to stay in the guidelines if we can, even though the guidelines are moving goalposts. It just kind of depends on who you are and what you're talking about. So the movement by the left is marching forward. Suppress free speech, create boogeymen. Any conservative values are labeled as extreme. Ban TikTok and X. So I'm going to tell you, TikTok, they do cull their data. They do make sure that you can't talk about certain things. They are not pioneers or stewards of free speech. I think that I have proven that without a doubt in this video. So now you know. Well, here's somebody who looks like more. After years of censoring conservative voices, TikTok claims ban would violate free speech.
Next month, TikTok is going to be banned in the United States, assuming that nothing changes. So now they're taking their case all the way to the United States Supreme Court, making the argument that it would be a violation of the free speech rights of millions of Americans. It's a little bit ironic to hear that case being made by the very platform that has systematically removed conservative content creators for years. Myself and every other creator that I know has had to rebuild countless times because we said something that TikTok didn't like. If you're
That's right. Something that TikTok didn't like. Now, remember what TikTok didn't like about what I said. Christians standing up for themselves because they didn't like the way that the Last Supper was. They weren't inciting. They weren't rioting. They weren't burning down buildings. They weren't attacking police. They weren't calling for anybody's death. They were not spewing hate. They were saying, hey, this is wrong. This is offensive. This is disrespectful. And they were meeting together in agreement in the street peacefully. And TikTok thought that was not. That wasn't safe. That was hateful. But then you see the videos of them harming the president of the United States, and former and future president of the United States, president-elect, and it's fine. Look, I'm not going to sit here and debate how far free speech can and can't go. All I'm saying is, it sure is funny.
You're going to talk the talk about all this free speech stuff,
Yeah.
then you're going to owe a lot of people some apologies, and you're going to have to reinstate a lot of accounts. And listen, I agree with Donald Trump. I don't want TikTok to be banned. I think if you remove it, you just put more power into the hands of the other platforms, which are just as bad, if not worse. But
that is true. YouTube will do that to you in a second. There's a way to make people conscious of self-censoring themselves. And by making people conscious of self-censoring themselves, they will subconsciously do it when the muscle memory kicks in, which will cause them, if they choose to stay in this trap, to think in a way that isn't their true self anymore. Now they're being cold to not even be able to be a free thinker if you take that route and don't speak freely. Or people like me that just try to become more creative to get that same message out.
hopefully, if TikTok is actually going to continue to operate in the United States, it's only allowed to do so if it actually allows real free speech.
Amen to that. In about a week or so, we'll find out if TikTok sells. Here's my evidence. TikTok is highly influential amongst our youth. Our youth is our future, and our youth is being fed information on an algorithm that censors certain voices, which makes it dangerous. Well, it disguises itself as a wolf in sheep's clothing, claiming that they are a community of free speech, but not toxic and hurtful speech, which I have given you evidence and receipts for today. So regardless of what you see on the news, regardless of what you see these people telling you, I think I've given you a thorough firsthand experience of censor and what creates the new term that I'm creating as self-censor. It creates a sense of self-censor where people don't want to say certain things because they want to at least be able to get a little bit of what they fill out. And it creates a very biased narrative for our children to consume. And so with that, TikTok gets sold. I could care less. Am I on TikTok? Absolutely. But just got censored the other day for releasing something that Mark Zuckerberg told Joe Rogan that actually happened to his company, and it got a community violation. I had to appeal it, of course. And what they do there is they make you appeal it, and it's kind of a soft stop where it stops the video that you put out from gaining its virality the way that you want it to. And I noticed that your account changes once those things start to happen to your account. So again, the evidence is there in front of you. American, I do not care if TikTok is sold. God, family, country. Talk to you guys next time. God bless you.